Council meeting to order. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody to tonight's Town Council meeting. It's good to see a packed house. First item on the agenda is the approval of our minutes from the March 28th meeting. Are there any changes, corrections to those minutes? No? If not, those minutes are approved as submitted. Next item, report of the town manager, Mr. Warner.
Thank you, Mayor Black, members of council. Just a couple of items. I'll try to be brief. First is that Buck Krantz will be hosting a dedication of the Purple Heart Bridge sign on Burks Hill Road on Friday, April 21st at 2:00 p.m. Anyone interested in attending is encouraged to meet at the Welcome Center prior to the event. Also wanted to note that spring cleanup is scheduled to take place next week, April 17th through 21st. We would ask that citizens and motorists be mindful of crews working to pick up curbside items during this time. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Warner? No? Thank you. Next item is the appearance before council. So we have the public hearing tonight, so that is everyone signed up for that that wants to speak? If not, if there's any other item that anybody would like to speak to, council will, not including the public hearing on the boundary adjustment, now would be the time to step forward and do that. Okay. Council comments. We'll start. Mr. Carson, you have any comments for this evening?
Mr. Mayor, the only comment I have, first of all, I'd like to say thank all of you for coming out, voicing your opinion. I know why you're here, and I'm glad to see all of you turn out, and welcome. And then I want to thank the council for supporting me in the passing of my brother this past weekend. I thank you for your support. That's all I have.
Just to let everyone know, Mr. Sherwin had a scheduled vacation with his daughter, and he's in Canada right now, so on spring break, so that's why he is not here tonight. Mr. Haley?
Same thing as Mr. Cross. Appreciate everybody being here. We know all why you're here, and like I said, we appreciate all your opinions and stuff. So, thank you for being here.
Please, ma'am.
I just follow suit. Thank all of you all for coming and voice your opinions. We certainly want to hear them, and continue to let us know what you think. Also want to again extend my condolences to Councilman Carson on the passing of his brother. He was a great man. If anybody ever knew him, he was active in the community, a real civic leader. He left a great legacy, and he'll be remembered, and I know missed.
Yeah, we appreciate all of y'all turning out tonight. We'll listen carefully to what you have to say, and that's all we can do at this point.
Everybody, welcome to the meeting. Thank you for coming out, coming here to give us some more information, voice your opinion. You know, regardless how everything does end up going, you coming out, voicing your opinion actually has more of an impact than what you might think. In fact, I wish people would come out for more stuff to voice their opinion more often. That's one of the things I kind of wish I saw more of. And I would also thank you for coming. And I'd also like to take this time to extend my condolences to Bob Carson on the passing of his brother and ask for a moment of silence.
And I'll echo that. Like I said, once again, welcome. We appreciate you coming out. We know this is a very important topic, not only for town council, but for you all that would potentially be affected by this potential boundary adjustment as part of the reversion and voluntary settlement agreement. So we're here to listen to you all tonight, and once again, we appreciate you coming out. Mr. Carson, like I said, I pass my condolences along as well. Your brother was a pillar in the youth athletic community in this community for many, many years, coaching rec football and rec baseball, and known him for a long time, and I know he will be missed. So, once again, just our thoughts and prayers are with you. With that, report of council committees. I don't believe we've had any committee meetings since the last meeting, and there are no revisions to the agenda at this time. So at this time, Mr. Warner, if you'll read the notice for the public hearing.
Town Council of Bedford, Virginia, on Tuesday, April 11th, 2023, at 7 p.m. in the Town Council Chambers located at 215 East Main Street, will hold a public hearing regarding the Phase 2 boundary adjustment as described by Section 9.7 of the Voluntary Settlement Agreement between the City of Bedford and Bedford County, which was executed in 2013.
All right, with that, I'm going to open the public hearing. Real quick, just a couple items. When you come up to the podium to speak, if you would, give us your name and your address for the record. We've got about 22 speakers tonight, so I'm going to ask that you be respectful of everybody's time. We're going to try to limit it to 3 minutes. I'll let you know when that 3 minutes is up. And if you're close to finishing, I may give you a little, some extra time, but just be mindful of the fact that we've got a lot of people we need to hear from tonight, and we want to hear from you. We're not wanting to, cut your time off, but if for some reason you have prepared remarks and you don't get to finish them in that time period, I would ask that you leave them with our clerk, and she will make sure that we all get a copy of your prepared remarks. If there's other, if you don't get to give us all your ideas, we all have email. You can send it to us as a group at council@bedfordva.gov. So those are ways to get in touch with us. A lot of you know us personally, so if you got questions, feel free to call us, reach out to us. We want to get as much information out about this process and decision as we can. So a couple of items I want to get into the record before I start calling our speakers. Last meeting, I received a petition with 24 signatures from Mr. Mark Halverson from High Acre Road and Wellington Drive subdivision. So I want to get these petitions in the record. We also have a petition here tonight from 110 signatures from the Town and Country subdivision. So like I said, we'll make that a part of the record. And then we also have a petition, all three of these petitions are opposing the annexation. So the one from North Hills has 276 signatures. So like I said, I want to make that a part of the public record. With that, our first speaker tonight is John Ketwig. Mr. Ketwig.
Hi, I'm John Ketwig. I live at 1717 Wycliffe Street. The previous town council made a deal 10 years ago, and you folks have kind of inherited it, and that's a shame because it's not real popular, I think you can see. This annexation has been delayed for 10 years, and I don't understand that there's any reason why it can't be delayed for another 10 or 20 or 30. And I think a lot of people would like to see that. The boundary of the area to be annexed has been changed, and I would like to see it changed again to not include the North Hills and Town and Country and not impact us as homeowners. The residents affected have had absolutely no vote on this thing. Please view these petitions as an indication of what's going to happen when you all come up for re-election. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Fred Heppenstall?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having us here. My name is Fred Heptonstall. I live at 103 North Branch Road in North Hills. The title of what I'm going to say is this could turn out to be a sad story. We moved, my wife and I, here in 2017. We chose Bedford over most any other place we could live. View of the mountains, a rural setting in Bedford County. We had lots of friends and relatives in the area. I'll add that I've got family roots back to this county to the mid-1700s. We bought a house with a little over 6 acres, backs up to the Little Otter River. As some of our neighbors know, we've invested a lot in the house. We were probably putting far more into the house than we should have, but it was our forever home. You can imagine the shock when we opened the letter in early February that we were going to be annexed into the town of Bedford. Not long before that, I got a notice that my county property value went up 37%. So based on the 50 cents in the county, we were going to go up 37%. I know there's a lot of talk about reducing that, but it hasn't happened. Talk's always cheap. If you look at the current assessment rates, in many neighbors we spoke with as we were doing our petition process had no idea what their new rate was going to be. And once they looked at it and started figuring out just in the county how much they were going to pay, and then add to that another 31 cents on top of the county assessment for the town of Bedford, on top of which for most of us is going to be about 122% increase, or more than double just on our property tax. On top of that, personal property tax. So for us, we're going to go from paying somewhere around $5,100 total personal property and real estate tax currently to close to $11,000 if you push this annexation through. And I know I've got some other neighbors here tonight that are far more impacted from a financial standpoint. But I'll summarize some of the concerns and opposition that I've heard as we've organized petitions to stop the annexation. And I'll mention that we are reaching out, we've reached out to all the other neighbors that are being affected. And I would say that the residents we're approaching, better than 99% are enthusiastically signing this opposition. Now, we estimate, based on what you said, there's about 500 households coming in within the next few days. We will have hit close to 100% of those. At 99%, almost 100% of all the residents you're proposing to annex oppose it. We've galvanized into what I would say is a community now. And we're not done yet. We're going to ask for you to give us more time to seek counsel. You heard the past gentleman put it off another 10 years. But I'll summarize some of the concerns. I'm not going to go into all the detail I've heard. But again, remember the petition process where we've really reached what I would say a pretty unique situation with all of these communities coming together. And I'm just going to list some of the things we heard during this process. What an insult to our intelligence, telling us you'll get all of the town's services and me, the town manager. We're not that stupid. They're taking what we chose for our lifestyle to feed their bureaucracy, a failing bureaucracy. One other resident wanted to be here tonight, but he wanted me to make this point. I'm 92 years old. I'm a veteran. I've lived in North Hills for over 40 years, and now they want to take my remaining freedom, my pension, and my little happiness I have left in my life. And several residents are looking at this as a negative impact on their property values. You're going to be competing, you're going to make us compete with the high town taxes and restrictions, lack of freedoms, to those seeking homes in the county, between here, or counties between here, Roanoke, and Lynchburg. Puts us at a real disadvantage. I'm sure we can go in front of Bedford County and plead our case if this happens to go through, which we hope it doesn't, and ask for a reconsideration on our assessments, considering what it's going to do to our property values. And this is a big one. We got a lot of people in these areas that are retired, fixed incomes. I can't afford to live here with the big increase in taxes. I got to move. We moved here from New York to get away from this kind of taxation. This is deceptive. This whole process of going from city to town, deceptive, reverting to a town to circumvent the law. This can't be legal. And then what I heard tonight was, why are we paying for past mistakes? So I'm just going to summarize, speaking across a lot of these neighbors. Stop messing with our livelihoods. Stop trying to grab money from our pockets. Stop this aggression. Stop the annexation. Give us time, if you're going to continue to go forward, more time to seek the legal counsel that we're going to need to really review the technicalities, make sure this is in compliance with state laws. So don't expect to, please, don't expect to vote on this next month. And as I'll borrow a line from a favorite movie of mine, and many of you will probably know what it is. We're just getting started.
Next is Miss Betty Schuett. Schuette, I'm sorry.
My name's Betty Schuette. My husband and David and I own 100 acres off of 221 down a private road, and we've lived there 32 years. We have all kinds of game there, turkeys, deer, coyotes, and now we're told that nobody can hunt them. I have son-in-laws and grandsons that keep them down to a minimum. They're even dangerous. But if we were annexed, we would get no benefit from the town of Bedford. We have our own water supply. We do our own road work. Whatever needs done, we have it right there. So in other words, we would be paying for something that we would never see or have. I think that's called taxation without representation. We get nothing from the town, and we ask for nothing. We're self-sufficient. Now I'm sitting there with 100 acres, all kinds of woods, animals running around, and no one can shoot them. Oh yeah, we will. So I ask you, for the benefit of Bedford town even, to turn this around. We do not need to be annexed, and I'm sure there's a lot of people here who do not need to be. We have 7 rental properties in the town of Bedford. 3 of them I pay city tax on. And the city tax I pay is way out of line with what the county tax is. They don't even compare. But I pay that. They had city tax when I bought them, so I've got no complaint there. But I've got 3 more that are going to be, if this annex goes through, they will get the tax, city tax. And they're rental property, so I'll end up paying it. How do I recoup my money? You don't. These are people who make it from payday to payday, and they know what it's like to scrape bottom, and I help them where I can. But I can't swallow city tax on every last rental property I've got. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Next person, Mr., is it Kilby?
Kibbe.
Kibbe? Yes, sir.
Good evening, my name is Dick Kibbe. I live at 1801 Oakwood Street and have for the past 6 years. Had no idea that we would be annexed into the town at any given point. I lived in Bedford County prior to that, and I knew that Bedford City became Bedford Town, but I didn't know annexation was in the deal. I spent years as a real estate consultant, and I have read where the town says that this will promote growth. No, it won't, because the population doesn't change. The way that development goes is they draw concentric circles, determine what the population is, determine what the average income is, and they make the decision based on that. They know where we are, that we are in the county, and that we are proximate to Bedford Township. They could care less. So whatever development is going to happen is going to happen. It's not predicated on how many homes you annex. What is how much money you're going to get as taxes. And I've read it several places, $450,000 out of 1,000 homes, 1,000 people, not 1,000 homes. That is aggravating. You guys just need an assist with money, and you found a way to get it. And people 10 years ago determined this is the way to get it. And you guys are doing the same thing. Because it's easy. You're not providing any services. You're doing nothing for us, other than what the county has been providing us. Think about it, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. David Henderson.
David Henderson, and I live at 1060 Haven Hill Lane, and the speakers before me have summed up exactly our feelings, and I don't know what your feelings are on this, but I know most of you. I know you're good people, and I hope that you will look at this with some compassion. I've seen some beautiful new signs that have gone up out there at city limits or town limits, where it says life, liberty, and happiness. And all I can think of is this proposal just sucks the life out of our community. It's totally opposed to liberty. This is more like Putin. I mean, that's what he calls it, annexation. There's no liberty here. You're sucking the life out. You're sucking out the liberty. And you can see there is no happiness. There's no happiness, folks, except in a bloated bureaucracy that seeks to further itself and lift itself up. You don't understand that what you've done already is created a ghost town of Bedford. This used to be a great place. You've taxed it into oblivion. It's a ghost town. The other thing, and I'm just a dumb old country preacher, but I kind of, every time I drove to the hospital, I would drive past this little place over here called Forest. Now, Forest is not a big city. I bet it's not even a town, is it? No. It's a census designated area, something like that it's called. And my word, look at the fire protection they've got out there. That's a massive new building that's been built out there for fire protection. They have electricity, they have water, they have everything that we have, and they're not a town. Why do we even need to be a town? I know that would make you all lose your jobs, but, hey, Bedford County, I used to live in Roanoke County. Bedford County is doing a great job. We have a great police force and our sheriff and what he's doing. And honestly, there's nothing you can offer us. The Forest, look how their development has gone. All these new businesses, all these new homes. And look at us, you're just sucking the life, sucking the liberty, and sucking the happiness right out of our lives. Thank you.
Garland Miller.
Mr. Mayor and fellow council members, thank you for your time this evening, and Town Manager. My name is Garland Miller, Jr. I actually live in Daleville, Virginia. However, I do own land on Forest Road and have a third interest in my parents' home there on Forest Road. So this is why I'm speaking to you this evening. And I thought about different ways that I wanted to, different ideas that I wanted to speak to you about tonight. But as I was coming down the road from Daleville, our dad bought our home in 1955 when he came out of the Korean conflict. He borrowed the money under the GI Bill in 1955, and he married our mom in 1956, and my parents never moved. They have been there. They're now both deceased, but it's the only home that my brother, my sister, and myself know. My brother and sister still live on the property that our dad purchased, and for me, as a youngster growing up, it was a great place to live there on Forest Road. And when people ask me today, where was I born and raised? I was born at the Bedford Hospital, and I was raised in Bedford County, a place that I am proud to say where I was raised. And some of the things that I am worried about that will not be able to happen if I choose to bring my grandchildren, my grandsons, down to our place now is one, as a kid, when my dad would allow me to use a little .22 rifle and go down on the creek and pluck cans and do things as we did then, I understand that is now in jeopardy, that I will not be able to bring my grandsons down to enjoy the same thing that I did. Our dad started a burn pile there many years ago, and we had great times around that burn pile with our dad. Many good conversations that happened there. Just quality time to spend with your dad as you're burning, and just great conversation and time spent with our dad. And understand that now that too is going to be in jeopardy. So I just think that, and with the services that is being offered by the town, we have great services now. We probably have one of the finest sheriff's offices that is within this Commonwealth. Then we have VDOT. VDOT maintains our roads and all for us. So far as refuge collection, We can choose to hire a private if we so choose, or if we'd like to use the convenience center at the landfill, then by all means, we get to do that at no charge. So far as sidewalks and street lights there, since 1955, we've done well without sidewalks or street lights. So I just say that I think that the timing of this is just bad for the way the economy is right now, and to pass a 62% increase in real estate tax onto the persons, the households that's involved in this annex is just not good timing at this time. And it has been, and it is my hope and prayer, and I have prayed about this, that one, that a motion can be made to table this at this time and maybe get revisited in some years to come, or that it will just not be done at all. Those are the things that I have hoped and prayed for. So I do want to thank you for your time. And before I got up, there was a note passed to me, and it's a question, and the person that passed it to me did not want to appear at the podium. But the question is, why doesn't or why can't the town council and the county board of supervisors come together and split our current taxes, either 50-50, 60-40, or 70-30? So that's a question not from me, but from the audience. And again, I think I'll summarize with this, is that I think it's been clear from, I was at the informative meeting that town manager, Mr. Warner, gave in March, the evening, I forget the exact date of it now. And in that meeting, the people who was here voiced some comments. And as of tonight, what I've heard is that, to summarize this, is we the people do not want to be annexed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, next speaker, Mike Miller. Mr. Miller.
Well, Mr. Chair, if it's okay, I'll give town manager 36 more seconds.
Certainly, that'd be fine.
Sir. The problem with going behind your brother is he takes a lot of your notes. But first, I would like to thank Mr. Chairman, members of the council, Mr. Warner, for letting us speak tonight. I'm speaking on behalf of my family and also for the residents of the county that could not be here tonight. My brother gave you a great summary of our property. We are now in our 4th generation of being able to live in a county where our dad and our mother, made it a place for us to come back to. And I want you to know that. So I hope that the town council has gone out and spoke to the citizens and heard some history. If you haven't, I would like for you to ask yourself, why haven't you gone out into our communities? Why haven't you spoken to the citizens about this? But tonight we're here to speak to you. So I am requesting that you do not annex us. I would also like members of the town council to take a moment and look at your neighbors, these people, us, this evening, and also understand that some of them couldn't be here tonight because of their age, because of other issues, so they're depending on us tonight to speak for them through their signatures, also through the ones here at the podium and the ones that are out here tonight, but also want you to understand that. So I've gone out in our community and spoke to some citizens, and I have not heard anyone asking for this to happen. Why? Maybe the council's asking that. It's already been said. We have the best sheriff's office, the best police department, and the best Virginia State Police that work together coincidentally to make sure this whole county and town is as safe as possible. We have the best fire department, we have the best rescue squad, we have the best electric department, and we have the VDOT, which I think has the best residential that helps the citizens of this county. So the question is, what are we going to be provided extra? And what are the citizens of the county going to have that's better than that? I have been told that you get trash pickup, $25 a month. But the recycling, you got to take that to the county dump site. It's where you got to take your recycling. That has to include brush cleanup. My brothers already spoke about that. Tonight, or on May the 9th, we have 2 trash companies in this community. Bays Brothers does ours. We have a price of $20.25 a month that we pay. So even that will go up. But with the annexation, you're not only hurting the citizens that are here tonight, you're also hurting 2 local businesses. Just on 221, where we live, there's 9 other businesses located on that. 9 other businesses. Are they going to be moving? Are they going to be hurt because of the taxes and the extra taxes that come with town taxes? Nothing that we have said so far helps a single resident. Tonight, in further votes, I ask that you do not hurt your community by taking Bedford residents even further with taxes. What I would ask is that you allow to be led and to lead like the state government and our governor who is led to bring taxes lower and money back to the communities. I know that you guys have lowered your tax rate to 29 cents, lowering it 3 cents, and they greatly appreciate it. But it brings our tax rate now, if the county goes to 41, to 70 cents. I have a question. Looking at comparable towns locally, I see a big difference. The town of Benton, with a little over 8,000 citizens, has a tax rate of 7 cents. Rocky Mount, with a little over 5,000 citizens, has a tax rate of 13 cents per 100. Both appear to have the same services that the town of Bedford has. The Board of Supervisors reduced their rate 9 cents by letting the citizens see that we are doing everything economically in this country, and we have brought Bedford County to tighten their belts to the tax rate that would only be 12 cents more than the town, which has clearly 8,000 residents. The county has 80,000. Roughly 8 square miles. The county has 795 square miles. If town council votes to annex phase 2, this would do just the opposite of what leaders are doing all over. They're protecting their citizens because this is an unstable economical turndown, and we're right here now. Gentlemen, this will affect all the citizens. What does a retired citizen do when their tax rate goes up 70%? This is worth repeating. What does all citizens do in phase 2 when their tax rate goes up 70%? Are we asking them to figure out what meal to skip? What medication that can we skip so that you will have enough money now to pay the taxes, the new taxes that will come with the annexation? Some of you may be thinking, you know, like that's a cheap shot. But I'm here to tell you, no, sir. That's reality. And if you don't think so, then I ask that you go out into your community and speak with the residents and hear their voices. I've gone out. I've spoke to the local food banks. They have the largest increase in people coming to them and asking for food donations. I have spoken to the volunteers at one of our local food banks, could not believe the answer that I got. An organization starts feeding the food, sending the food out at 4:30. They told me the people start lining up at 2 o'clock because they are afraid that they will not, if they don't get there early enough, there will be no food left for them to get at the door. This organization has never run out of food, but that is the fear in the citizens here. So last week I drove up and I wanted to see myself. I drove by at 1 p.m. and the line had already started growing. Gentlemen, this is reality. Last year was the first time I'd heard about homeless people sleeping on the park benches in the town. One church opened up a warming shelter so they could come out of the cold. March 22nd, 2023 on WSET, they reported inflation is still at an all-time high. And the federal government just adjusted an interest rate again 0.25% higher. They stated 2 banks have closed. Other banks are on shaky ground. Pet food is up 15% and eggs are up 55%. For over a year, federal government has been aggressively raising interest rates, they said. They also reported this could last another 12 to 18 months. When we hear this, I know it's hard to hear. And we have even gotten to the difference of the town ordinances and the county code. In the county, we have heard the Board of Supervisors state many times that they try their best to stay out of what a person can do with their property. When it comes to town ordinances, they tell us what we can do with our property. With the town ordinances, no hunting, no shooting if there's wildlife out there. How can I shoot the groundhog that puts holes in the ground that breaks my cattle's feet? I have to get permission to do that. Shooting and sighting in my handguns and our rifles on our property will no longer be done, just to name a few. But on March 23rd, Mr. Warner was asked what negative effect this would have on the town if this was voted down. And he stated, there would be none. I know sometimes it's hard to hear and to listen to. I know that because of my daily job, to hear the good and to hear the bad. My sister gave me a scripture here, and I hope each and every one read devotions. This comes from the Society of St. Andrews. It's located in Beg Island, and it operates the Gleaning of the World that includes volunteers who save fresh produce every year, helps to feed individuals, families, and agencies struggling with access to food and healthy food. This was actually written by a Bedford County lady on April the 1st. Psalms 25:20 says, guard my life and rescue me. Do not let me be put to shame, for I take refuge in you. She states this, moving toward current times, many people who find they need assistance with food for themselves and their children may feel ashamed. They are crying out to God to rescue them. Some of those are the newly needed working poor. Those the rising utility bills, food bills, and fuel for their cars in numbers rising much faster than their paychecks. People who have never before needed assistance are walking a brand new path as they seek help. So in closing, what worries me is that on March 23rd, Mr. Warner also stated, we have bought a brand new trash truck. We already have trash cans already ready. So is this already a done deal? Have we already put the cart before the horse? Are our voices truly falling on deaf ears? We will know that answer on May the 9th. Gentlemen, now is not the time. With everything going on economically in this community and this country, now is not the time. Thank you for listening. God bless this community, and God bless this country.
Next, Darrell Updike. Mr. Updike.
You know, one of the tenets of public speakers is not to follow a better speaker. I'm in for it. Darrell Updike, 203 Peakland Court. Back when the city-town reversion was first being spoken of, I knew it was going to be long past my retirement. In fact, at this point in life, I thought I was going to be dipping my toes in a creek somewhere in the Ozark Mountains. However, my wife's roots run a whole lot deeper, and so that's why we're still here. Bedford is predominantly a very conservative community in many of their beliefs and lifestyles. That being said, one of the main underlying themes of any conservative platform is government overreach. My position is a little bit different than what you've heard so far. Should this boundary adjustment continue. I ask that you provide the citizens of this affected community with the same privilege that the then city, now town and county has allotted for themselves. Give us 10 years to get it used to the new finances, the new cost of living for this particular area. You know, you've heard discussions about hunting, firearms. There's folks in my neighborhood that love archery. I'm doing a lot of tree work last several years. I'm doing a lot of burning in my backyard, like we've already heard. You know, these are things that are going to be affected. You know, should this boundary, you know, take my neighborhood into be absorbed. I had another point. Thinking about Mike and all his points, and so we get stuck out of me. But you know, just take into account that, you know, these are some of the changes that are going to happen, and just be cognizant that, you know, should this procedure move forward. And if I think of that last point, I'll get with you guys and let you know exactly what that is.
Let us know.
But thank y'all for your time.
Thank you.
Jane and Jim McKeon.
Good evening, my name's Jane McKeon. I'm at 112 Peakland Court in Bedford County. We've lived here about going on 40 years now. My husband's been a builder in Bedford County for many years. We've built 4 homes here in Bedford County, and my children graduated from Stanton River in Bedford County. And I just want to ask a question. The highlighted area of Phase 1, 460 East, is that a done deal? It's already been annexed. So the business sector has already been annexed, and the lands that are out there for sale have already been annexed. Because when we bought our property at Peakland Court, no realtor told us that it was already annexed. And we were highly unprepared for this, and we vehemently oppose it. This audience before you, I think I can say we feel a little betrayed. And when I came to Bedford years ago, it was called BLT, Best Little Town. And we rode through that village with the planters and the small chapel in the middle of town. And we saw the view of the peaks, and we said, this is it. This is where we're going to raise our children. I resigned from law enforcement, came down here and spent my time raising my children, had a horse farm out by the peaks, and as we aged, we had to give up that larger property and decided on a smaller lot on Peakland Court, and we built our 4th house in Bedford County, and we'd hope to keep it that way. But I have to say, as a reminder, that Bedford has opened up apartments down there on Bedford Drive, Bedford Ave. The last one, 206, has just been opened with facilities there for more residents. We're still waiting on the completion of Bedford Elementary. It seems to have come to a little bit of a standstill, but I know there'll be another tax base there with, I believe, something in excess of 60-some apartments. So you'll have more residents in that respect. And I just ask that you think about this and think of all the eloquent speeches that were given before me. Realize that the timing is really, really bad. Really, really bad. And we'd like to stay in Bedford County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Joel Severs.
Good evening. I'm Joel Severs from 907 Woodhaven Drive in Town and Country. Need I say anything else? You've seen the petitions. You've seen the people of Bedford County show up. They're telling you they don't want it. Go out into the community. These are the kind of people you're going to be talking to, saying, we don't want it. They're going to tell you, we don't want it. They may tell you, like some of them have told me, if they voted through those 7 people, there'll be another election. There'll be a new town council. There'll be a new mayor. That's the way the people of the county feel. We don't want change. Everybody I've talked to in my neighborhood, we don't want sidewalks. The ones that have trash pickup, they have a fair price for what they're paying for their trash pickup. And I know if we become town, you're gonna have cleanup week in the spring, cleanup week in the fall. Now they can sit out whatever they want and pay $20 or $25 a week. They can't set everything out that they might have. Some of the people that are older, they couldn't be here tonight. And they're dependent on us to speak to you. And I hope y'all would reconsider and not let this go through. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Ben Thurman.
Good evening, Town Council. I'm Ben Thurman. I'm at 1011 Winter Ridge Drive in Bedford. I'm here to speak in opposition to the annexation of the Town and Country subdivision, of which I'm a resident, into the town of Bedford. I've got all my comments here prepared, but I'm just going to speak to you like a person. Y'all are hitting me where it hurts. You're hitting me in my pocketbook. I run the numbers tonight with the updated real estate for the county and the town advertised rates. I'm looking at an increase, factoring in the mandatory trash for the town. I'm looking at an increase of 134.5%. What's coming out of my pocket just to live where I'm living now. My wife and I are both teachers for the county, and I thought that that'd be a good job for us both to be able to make ends meet. And I got to be honest, it's getting tough. I just found out we qualify for the Affordable Connectivity Plan. I try to do everything on my own, everything I can to support my family and me, and not depend on anybody else. I haven't been in any food banks. I'm a provider. I'm supposed to provide for my family, but it's getting tough, guys. Pulling an extra 134.5% out of what I'm paying to live where I live hurts. I came to the meeting on March 23rd. All the services that were offered, I see the trash, the police department, sidewalks, street lights. These are nice things. I don't want to discount that those are nice things. But when I bought my house 11 years ago, I understood that I wasn't going to get these things because I wasn't part of the town. I didn't want these things, and that's part of why I chose to buy the house where I purchased it. No disrespect to those services, but I just don't need them. I don't think anybody here tonight behind me, I'd say the majority of them feel the same way. We just don't need the services that you're offering, not for the price tag that I'm going to be stuck paying out of my pocket. I think it was mentioned on the March 23rd meeting, when town reversion started, you guys had about $2 million in your rainy day fund. And if I understood correctly, we're at about $4 million now. I don't think you need our tax money. I don't think that you need me to attract the businesses. As somebody else said, I live where I live. If you're looking at town membership to where to put your business, I don't think you've got a very good business degree. You need to go back to school and learn a little bit about where people live and how that works. Town council, it's my opinion that a large majority of our neighborhood, people behind me, the other areas being annexed, we don't want the services, with all due respect, we don't want them. You've got the choice to do what's right. Just because you can, don't mean you have to. I encourage each of you guys to think about your actions. This is not your doing. I understand that you came into this just like a lot of people moved into the neighborhood. This wasn't you guys. I'm not blaming you, but you got the power to do something about it. I'd appreciate it if you consider my opinion when you make your decision. Thank you for your time.
Thank
you. Next, let's see, Martha Jones.
That's all been said.
Okay. Jim Swanson.
I guess I didn't prepare anything. The reason I didn't feel that you folks had prepared much when you had the meeting on Thursday. My wife and I live at 135 Garrett's Lane, Bedford. We have 5 acres in the city at this time, and the rest of the 90-some acres is in the county. Now, I worked in forestry, and my wife and I are getting up in age. My wife's 85, I'll be 85 in July. And I have asked you about different things to do with my farm. And I've been told, don't worry about that, I'll take care of it. But you haven't taken care of it. You see, you can't tell me that I can hunt if you got rules that says I can't. You can't tell me that I can burn if you got rules that I can't. And you have done nothing to clear that stuff up with somebody that has a 100-acre farm. You don't care. But when the law comes and I tell them, hey, Tim Black said it was all right for me, I'll bet you any money Tim Black's mind is just forgetting all about that kind of stuff. So, you know, don't push out stuff that you can't handle. Make it a law. But you haven't done that. You sat back and said, okay, this is it, we're going to do it, and we don't care. And my wife and I, our driveway's a half a mile long. I begged Bart to not make me buy your trash can. I wonder who's going to push it a half a mile up the hill to get out to it. And I will see to it that when you pick up stuff, that 5 acres, I have never put anything out on the curb. But get ready, it's going to be out there on 122. And you're going to have to come and get it. I'm saying, you said we'd do it. So that I can do already this spring. You know, you guys haven't thought about this stuff. You really haven't. It's unreal what you're putting older people through. I can't go out and get another job at 85. How many of you want to? I don't see any hands going up. How do you take and support yourself with this kind of increase? Why don't we put that on the signs? 61% or 62% increase. Come to Bedford town. Bring your manufacturing here. We got the highest rate around. You laugh about it. But doggone, you're losing stuff every day you turn around. And it won't be long, and we'll go back to the county. And maybe that's the way to go. You take us into the city, and I'm going to do what I can to take us back to the county. And I think that's what should happen. That's all I got.
RT Lyons.
RT Lyons Jr., 1818 Vista Circle. And if I had my choice, I guess I shouldn't have put my name on that list. My dad's out of town up in Charlottesville visiting a preacher whose wife's having surgery, and my sister's working tonight, and we're all pretty affected by this, but my name's on there, so I might as well come up here. My family has lived in Bedford County for 7 generations uninterrupted. My daughter was born here, my son, 8 generations, so I felt like I have a right to speak. I know a lot of you guys, and you got a tough job. It's a tough job. Tim here's coached my daughter before, and Stacy and Bart coached my son. I mean, we've known you. I know it's a tough job. Y'all's pockets are short. That's why we know y'all relate to us. Pockets are short. You need money. We all need money. Not everybody in North Hills is made of money. I used to think that until I moved there. Then I realized, no, they're trying to make ends meet like everybody else. But we feel like maybe we're getting our pocket picked. That's what it feels like, because you need money. And I had a business in town that the Lord allowed me to have a dream. 20 years, I loved it. I ran a business in Bedford. I had all the success I wanted, and the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I'm happy about it. I don't like getting up speaking like this. I'm a hermit now. I don't come out much. But when I feel like my pocket's getting picked, and my dad's pocket's getting picked, and my sister who struggles, her pocket's getting picked, I started thinking, wow, what's the money for? And I can't help but go back to what I remember when I had my business. I didn't get mine started in Centertown. I hadn't heard anybody mention Centertown tonight. And I'm not bitter, but when I opened my business, I happened to be over in Food Line Shopping Center. And I tried to do the Chamber of Commerce stuff. And what I realized is that was just the code word for Centertown. It wasn't Chamber of Commerce. I tried to get involved in this wine and cheese stuff and do what you're supposed to do. But it was all about Centertown. And I think my first job was in Centertown. When Fink's Jewelers was down there, Glasser Jewelers, right on the corner. Sam Thompson gave me a job. I loved it. Loved seeing the parade. My Uncle Bill Gross to bring me to the parade, put me on his shoulders when I was just a wee chap. Loved it. I loved Bedford all about it. Loved Bedford Centertown. But I noticed early on, even in '85 when I was working there, that they were talking about how much trouble they were having getting it to stick around, getting it to go. And even when I had my business in '98, I saw it was all about that. And what you got with Centertown, I don't know where this money you need is going to go to. I think a little bit of it, I may be wrong, is going to that Centertown. That's a hole in your pocket. It's been a hole in the pocket since at least '85. And it drains a lot of money out of it, but a lot of y'all make your living down there. Maybe that's why you need it to succeed. But I'm glad you do. I like it too. But if that's what you need, don't pick our pocket to put the money in a hole in your pocket. Thank you.
Thank you.
John and Audrey Hardy.
Good evening. My name is David Hardy. My father is John, he's 88. My mother is Audrey, she's 87. They're in declining health. They asked me to speak tonight. Had a nice conversation with Mr. Warner today. I was actually on a tractor in a hayfield. My parents are retired school teachers. They have a fixed income. They get Social Security and a small state pension. With the current increase in Bedford County, oh, I'm sorry, they're at 126 Mockingbird Circle. Forgive me for missing that. They paid $1,497 last year to Bedford County in real estate tax. I didn't quite get the personal property tax end of it because I literally just found out today with the letter from the county. With the increase in their property value at the current Bedford County tax rate, plus the current town of Bedford real estate tax rate, they will go from $1,497 for their home to $3,287.79. That's a 219.63% increase in 1 year on their real estate tax. Now they're in failing health and I do everything I do. I literally go there every single day of the week to dispense their medication. You know, I mentioned to Mr. Warner today, what if they don't pay their real estate tax to the county of Bedford and the town of Bedford? Well, we're not going to do anything we probably won't do anything. I'm not trying to misquote you, but if they don't pay it after 3 years of not paying, say, the town of Bedford, but they continue to pay the county of Bedford, you all will do an escheat tax sale and take their home away from them. I don't know what to call that other than tyranny. And the increase in their real estate property tax of 219.63% is nothing more than usury. That's all I got to say.
John Lures.
Hi, I'm John Lures. I live at 1004 Woodhaven Drive. I moved there in August of last year, not knowing anything about an annex. The guy I bought the house from never told me about it. Real estate never told me about it either, but I wanted to live in the county. Well, I can't ask the previous owner because he's deceased. So then I find out about this. Right now, I'm on Social Security disability. There's no way I can make it. If my taxes go up double, I'm never gonna make it. I mean, I don't need any services, none at all. I cart my trash off, and I take care of myself. I leave people alone, I don't do anything wrong. But for me to get extra services that I don't need, and especially at that price, I'm gonna have to sell. And then if I sell, I'll never get my money back. Because who's going to want to buy a house if their taxes is going to go up? So that's about all I have to say. Thank you.
Todd Ramsey. Mr. Ramsey.
Hello, my name is Todd Ramsey, and I own 3096 Forest Road with my wife. We own Shiloh Land Management, and we are one of the several businesses that will be affected by this. And I'm not speaking on my behalf. I'm speaking on my daughter's behalf and the generations that will come after her. This town and this county have failed to pave a future that works, that provides opportunity, sustainable growth for the future generations. Walmart and Family Dollar are not sustainable businesses for our county and our future generations. And we need to step away from that mindset. And this town has not done that. We are continuing to lose industry in this town. We have an industry park that is empty, and you claim that this is going to help draw in businesses, yet our vocational school is underfunded and underrepresented. You are not paving a way for the future generations. I'm one of the youngest people in this room. And the only reason I'm here is because I own my own business. People younger than me, they can't afford to even take time off because they are doing everything they can to put food on the table for their children. You all need to get a vision together that paves a way for the future generations. You already are making more money off the taxes than most of the county around here, most of the towns around here. Yet you squander it. You don't pave a way for the future. And I'm pissed beyond belief that I have to deal with this. I'm shaking. I'm so mad. I am tired of this. And Stacy knows the services that are in this county are inadequate. The town water can't even supply enough water for the fire department to put the middle school fire out. It failed a line when the train station caught on fire. Yet you do nothing to invest in our infrastructure. The town water authority is a joke. They've got more equipment than I've ever seen in my life, yet it sits around and they don't do anything with it. It takes forever for y'all to get anything done. I'm sorry, but this is ridiculous. I had a whole speech prepared, but I'm tired of it. You all need to put your money where your mouth is and start showing that you care about this community. We ought to have an ag center second to none in this state built on one of these industry parks. You ought to have a 4-H center that is second to none in this state. You ought to be protecting the agricultural basis of this county, but you're not. You're not setting us up for success. I don't care about myself. I'll scrape out a living wherever I need to go. But we ought to be preparing for the generations below us that are coming forward. Do you want your grandchildren inheriting this mess? Do you think a little extra money is actually going to solve that? Proper management will solve that. A proper vision will solve that. Without vision, you lack purpose. And when I look at this town, I see a black mark. You have driven out quality businesses, locally owned businesses, and industry for generations that will never come back here because of how this town treated them. We had a Kroger in this town. Where are they at? They're not coming back. Rubber Techs, they're gone. Now we have apartments over there. We don't have industry, we have apartments. We have more mouths to feed. Yet we have an untrained workforce that is not getting equipped properly for the future. You should be focusing on our vocational school and preparing the children to be able to accomplish more than we've accomplished. And we should be able to look back and know that our legacy that we left behind was one that set them up for success. Life is hard, no matter how you cut it, and no matter how your bank account looks, life is tough. I don't have a college education. I've fought hard to carve out the business we have, and my wife and I never dreamed that we'd have what we have. And I'll be able to afford to pay the taxes. I will, because we have renters and we'll make it work. But there's folks in this room that can't make it work. And that is wrong, that we would put our elderly community at risk. And that is not fair to them. They chose to live in this community for many different reasons, but I guarantee you one of them was not so they'd pay more taxes and have less services. I mean, it is unbelievable that you would think that in the article I read that increasing our town limits would encourage a chicken business to move into the community. Let me tell you, Chick-fil-A doesn't give a crap about moving into Little Bedford. They barely even moved down Timberlake Road. They're not even moved into Forest, which Forest is a bustling community now. And they still haven't moved there. They don't care about us. Come on, guys. You guys can do better than this. Take what you have, show us that you can build something with what you have. And then we know that our investment is worth it. That our hard-earned dollar is going to be well used. And that is what is important to us. If we all knew that our dollar was being well spent, I think most of this community would probably get on board with it. That they knew that you guys were going to fight for us. No? 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 You don't care that our future generations, if we had industry in here, that we provided infrastructure that made sure that our children wouldn't have to leave this community to find a living? I'd fight for that. I'd pay for that. But not now. Not with this current trajectory. Our hospital is a joke. That is a joke and a half. We don't even have one paid fire truck on the road in this county. We barely staff medic units in this county. It took decades to get a pay increase for the fire department and for the police department. We're still some of the lowest paid in the entire state. Come on. Don't say you're going to give us better services, because it's not. That is a lie. That is a lie. We are not going to receive better services. We'll have to pay more money, more taxes, and get less for it. And that's not fair to our community. That's right. You have got to show that you can manage what you've got, and you can. Bring in industry into our community. Show us what you've got. And if you can't do it, find people that can. Put your money where your mouth is. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Jeff Kingery.
Hi, my name's Jeff Kingery. I'm at 1112 Roundtree Drive over in Town and Country. I was asked if I wanted to sign up to speak tonight, and I figured what I was wanting to speak about would get mentioned, but I went ahead and signed up, so I'm going to go ahead and take my opportunity. Our personal property tax this year had to give us 33% refund off of it. There were some mistakes made. Reassessment, hitting everybody with new values, raising our real estate taxes. Everything else, cost of living, everything else that we're looking at that we all have to deal with that comes out of our pocket is just going up and going up, and away. It's been said very eloquently, very clearly that there should be a stay, a tabling, a delay, whatever you want to call it in y'all's line of work. You have a big responsibility, and your responsibility is to yourselves as well as to the community that you serve, and I really appreciate what you do. I've never been to one other meeting but this, so I realize I have shunned my responsibility to be here to voice my opinion throughout the process, so I'm more up to date. But your responsibility is to us, and now's not the time to raise us, our pockets, our taxes, and everything that we have to deal with at this time. So whether it's 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, or forever, I recommend that we delay the reversion. Well, can we go back to the reversion? Let's do that. No, but please. I was told that mentioning delaying or tabling this back in March was a consideration that we would think about it. I hope you are. I hope it's really something that you're thinking about. I hope what we're doing here tonight is not just a formality. I was kind of made to feel, with everything that was shared in the informative meeting in March, that we were like foster children in the county. That we have been getting by on your dollar in the town, and it's now time for us to pay up. I kind of felt like this was a delayed debt that I owed that I never knew about. Somebody made a mistake 10 years ago, evidently, in putting that in play to make us feel as if we owe something. Thank you for your allowance for me to speak, and I hope you are really considering voting this down on May the 9th, and have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
All right, that is the last speaker that signed up. Is there anyone else that would wish to speak? I would like to give you the opportunity if you would like to do so. No? All right, with that, we'll close the public hearing. All right, so once again, thank everybody for coming out and giving us your thoughts and sharing with us tonight. We do appreciate that, and we'll consider all the information you've given us.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Well, I need to talk to Ronnie about Ronnie's home. Hey. Yeah, good to see you. Nice to meet you. Hey, Darryl, how you doing?
Mike, we're going to take a recess for a few minutes, all right? We'll just take a recess.
How you doing, sir? Good to see you.
These like rehab on people in court.
No problem. Anytime.
Thank you.
I just don't have to have to, we absolutely have to fix that. In fact, I was just telling him, working with Chief Lewis, because I'll accept his guys, but yeah, for big acreage, of course we need. And Mike even says, like, we don't need to do anything unconstitutional, which we're kind of
pursuant to section 2.2-3711A5 of the Code of Virginia of 1950 as amended for discussion concerning a prospective industry where no previous announcement has been made related to a potential business or industry in the western part of the town.
So moved.
We have a second. All right, roll call.
Mr. Carson?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Hartwick?
Aye.
Mr. Johansson?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Mayor Black?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 ayes.
All right.